ShowRatings.tv Pilot Roundtable, a Southgate Media Group podcast. I'm Olivia Richards.
And I'm Kyle Tremblay.
And we're from ShowRatings.tv, where you can rate and review all your favorite shows, including the new series we're talking about today.
Can you read my mind? It's Manhattan Love Story.
So based on the ABC description, have you ever wondered what your date was thinking? This romantic comedy exposes the difference between men and women through the unfiltered thoughts and often contradictory actions of a new couple who have just begun dating. And it stars Annalee Tipton and Jake McDorman. Okay, so before I launch into
Please, launch away, like NASA. Let's launch.
Well, I was going to ask about like your perspective of watching this as a guy, because this show is so heavily centered on gender roles and stereotypes. And again, I'm watching this as a 22-year-old woman, but I wanted to see like what your perspective on the show was while you were watching.
As a 30-year-old dude, yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I can barely respond to your question because I'm just looking out on the street right now looking for boobs. So, I mean, it pretty much nailed that. No, God, no. This was
right.
I want to use the word horrifying in terms of its portrayal of the male character, and I won't even get to the woman yet because there's a lot to say about her that I'm sure you will say. He is a monster. It's kind of like if we could hear the internal monologue of the redheaded bearded guy from Mixology. He is a horrible, horrible human being who I never want to see on TV again. The character, not the actor. I thought the actor, I mean, what can you really do, honestly, like when you're giving that material? I don't want to blame him.
Quit acting.
Yeah, but that character I never want to see on my screen again. I don't feel like the moments at the end, like every sitcom is doing, where they try to soften all the characters at the end, did anything to make me like either of these characters more. I'm again, frankly, horrified that this exists. And I cannot believe that it aired on television. So what did you think?
So after that really positive review,
yeah.
I know we've gone as far on this site as to call some shows war crimes.
Yes.
I don't know what the next step up from that is, or down, depending on how you look at it. But this was just, it hurt. I hated it.
Yeah.
So much, and for so many reasons. But like you gave your perspective on our male character Peter, but Dana, oh my God, like I didn't know it was possible to reduce an entire character down to their most basic gender stereotypes and to put them so far into that gender box. But like everything about her, I feel like they set like a 5-year-old off into New York, and just everything that she did was so just there was no dimensions to her, like literally to the point that she couldn't even use a cell phone. She couldn't even, like, she was trying to make calls, or she thought she was texting him and ended up calling him, and she's like, just, it was awful. And I'm like, this is coming from someone who can barely turn on a computer, and I'm like, I'm judging you so hard.
There are, I believe, 4 separate jokes about her inability to operate her own mobile phone, which, I mean, really? Really? Like, they really hammer it home. And
I mean, just everything about it. And then to the point that literally they have the main character working at the company that produces trophies. Like, could you not be any more subtle about the fact this guy has no value for women? And of course, because they gave him an inner monologue, like that makes it impossible to redeem him as a character. Not like, that was my biggest thing about this, is that like I hate on TV shows that we have this trend that they have this male character who is so deeply misogynistic and so deeply sexist, and they try to pass it off as him being emotionally distant.
Yes.
Emotional distance is not the same as literally having no value for the other sex.
Absolutely. Preach it. Because that was this show, and again, this is an ABC thing that they run into from time to time, and I don't know why they are tone deaf in this specific way. But they can't distinguish between making a character that, like you said, is distant or that has some flaws, and a character that is a misogynistic monster. There's no, they only see black and white. Like, and they don't see like how terrible they're making this character, and they can't tease out any nuance between what a flawed character is and what a hateable character is. And boy, they just really wanted us to like this guy by the end of the episode. And he was just he was horrible. Like the way he treats that woman is horrible. And the way he talks about women is horrible. And it's like, this is the worst kind of guy. Like this is it's irresponsible for this to be on television in a way that they're trying to make us like him. Because this is like, it's almost like the guy from a beer commercial has been given a sitcom. And he's like every guy from every light beer commercial who's like at a party and having a great time and checking out chicks. And it's amazing to me that they could be so tone deaf to write the character that way.
Just even after that, because like originally, like she picks up obviously on the date that he's being just an ass, and then he comes back to apologize with flowers. And you know, keep in mind, like they made her so materialistic to the point that like obviously she's going on the street where he's, you know, staring at boobs the entire time. She is wanting to like take other girls' purses, being like, oh, I like that person, that person.
Oh,
it's to the point that like she calls him out on everything, and there's no way that she could have given him a second chance, and no way that any woman should feel like she has an obligation to do this. But because he bought her flowers, and because like there's an explanation for his actions, she now feels that she owes him a second chance and like the second date. And after that, I'm like, this like you said, like this has no business being on TV. The fact that we're sending this message to women that if a guy is just a complete dick to you, you owe him a second date as long as he has a good reason why.
Yeah, and there was like just little things like her internal monologue is like, I hate that he thinks I'm going back to his place, and then like a beat, then like I hate that he's right, and that is just, it's just icky. Like it was icky to me. Like I don't want these two characters to sleep together. Like they should never speak to each other again. They clearly, like, he is an awful person who should be alone his entire life. And she, the way that character is portrayed is as someone who should be locked in an asylum because she's eventually going to electrocute herself using her toaster. Like it's like that. These two characters should not be together under any circumstances. And yet the premise of the show is that we're supposed to fall in love with their relationship, which is bonkers. Just. I also, we can't brush past the scene, the cold open. The opening scene of this entire series is he is staring at boobs and she is staring at purses. And I would wager it is and will continue to be the worst thing on television in 2014. That scene. I cannot imagine a worse scene occurring on any television show, comedy, or drama.
And then it kept getting worse, like by the ending. By the ending, remember how he's like, I'm emotionally closed off. Like, I need to work on that. I'm like, okay, maybe character development, like maybe something. Maybe. Like I was trying so hard, and I was watching it, and there was a point I almost had to turn it off. But like I got to that end scene, and he starts crying, and she's like, oh, no, he's gay. I was like, you guys. I was like, what is happening? Like, we're not even picking a group anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we're being blatantly misogynistic.
Homophobic.
We're giving men no emotional range, because remember, to be a real man, you have to be emotionally closed off and objectify women. And then on top of that, it's like we now are making just heteronormativity and just it was bad. Yeah.
This was offensively bad. You know, I believe you could listen to our Selfie podcast, a show that we disagreed on, but even though I think Selfie's bad, I said it was inoffensively bad. I get it. You know, you can like it. I don't mind that it exists. I don't necessarily want to see it fail. Manhattan Love Story is a show that I desperately want to see canceled after 2 episodes. Like, this show should not be on television. It is offensive that this show is on television and that anyone in the world would like it, male or female, because regardless, you're going to take the wrong lessons from this show. and it just shouldn't exist. It's irresponsible that this show is on television. It is so just offensively bad.
No, that's exactly what I said. I was like, you don't even need to pick a demographic of people that this would be offensive to. Like, honestly, to hate this show, all you have to do is be a human being who owns a TV set.
Yes, true. Yep.
So, yeah, I think, this doesn't even need to be asked. But, yeah, for you, was it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I actually can't give it a rating because I cut my thumb off. So So, because it needed to go lower, so I cut it off and I buried it. In terms of thumbs down, that's how bad of a thumbs down this is.
Yeah, that about sums that up. There was no way to just give it like just a gentle thumbs down. It just, I want to see this pulled off of air.
Me too. Is
this as soon as possible?
Is this the worst pilot of the season you've seen so far?
Of any season.
Any season. Worst. Okay. Well, let's bring it to hallowed ground then. Mixology and Dads and Manhattan Love Story. What's your ranking?
Oh God. Okay, so it would have to go on like in terms of just like the worst would be Manhattan Love Story.
Oh, worse than Mixology and Dads?
This tops it, honestly.
Wow.
This for me, and then swiftly followed by Mixology and then Dads.
See, I think this was worse than Dads, pretty clearly. Mixology I have trouble with because I feel like that had all the same misogyny and homophobia and all of that was present in Mixology, but that show also thought it was cool, which is a real problem for me. So I might give a very slight nod to Mixology in terms of being the worst show I've ever seen. But this certainly is a close second. So that's a good summary of where we're at.
So yeah, I think that about wraps that up with that amazingly positive podcast edition. All right, so that concludes this episode of ShowRatings.tv Pilot Roundtable. We invite you to check out this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts at southgatemediagroup.com and to read about, rate, and discuss all your favorite shows at ShowRatings.tv. You can follow me on Twitter at RichardsOlivia, Kyle at Kyle Loves TV, and Show Ratings at ShowRatings.tv. Until next time, thanks for listening.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.